How many of you are involved in leadership and senior management hiring? Oh, a large number of you. How many of you are involved in campus hiring? Oh, again, a large number of you. The question that I want to ask you is, when you go for campus hiring, your organizations, how many of your organizations sends the leader to the campus for the pre-placement talk? A large number of you. Now the question is, the organization is represented by that particular leader. His or her brand affects the organization that you are going. Marcus Buckingham, in his book, he says, whenever an employee joins, he or she joins the organization. But when he leaves the manager. I'm going to challenge that. My challenge is, people join leaders and they leave the leaders. How else can you explain startup companies recruiting fresh B-school students or the brightest and the best of the talent? In Silicon Valley, the big exodus that is happening from companies like Apple, companies like Google, companies like Facebook to startup companies. They're joining a particular leader in that organization. They are subscribing to his or her vision. Now, many times they do not have cash in the bank. They do not have 3-year balance sheet. And therefore, we need to recognize and understand, and that's the reason why I have given that asterisk. End of the day, people work for people. There are plenty of good people out there. They're just not working for you. They're not wanting to work for you. Because this is where the challenge is. We have to move from the employer branding to leadership branding. The surplus society has got a surplus of similar companies, employing similar people, coming up with similar educational backgrounds, working in similar jobs, coming up with similar ideas, producing similar things with similar prices and in similar quantity or quality. Into this world where everything is commoditized, we will have to bring about a differentiator. Who is that differentiator? You, the individual. What is the one question that we start off with? Tell me more about yourself, right? I've asked that question. And whenever I've asked that question, I get a variety of answers. Some people, when I ask that question, short of telling me their midwife or who the ward number was, they give me the full details. All the biological details. Some people talk about their hobby, I went here, I went there, and my father got transferred here. I mean, is that the question? The question is, I've got a particular job, right? I've got a particular profile. Actually, the question should have been, what is it that you have that will make us consider you for that particular profile? So we don't ask that question. We say, tell me more about yourself, but that question is a camouflage question. And I'll give you the variety of answers which can shock you. It embarrassed me way back in 1982, when I started with DCM as a management trainee. I mean, that was a creme de la creme program. They put us into a variety of departments. I and a colleague of mine, we got posted into the marketing department. And then as part of our assignment there, we had to recruit a model for the textile division. So we're conducting an interview and we started off with the same question. Tell me more about yourself. And the candidate gave us mathematical figures. Boy, I tell you, both of us were blushing. We were wondering what to do, how to proceed with the interview. Little did we realize that that was the right answer for the job on hand. Many of us don't realize how we have to differentiate ourselves. I'll give you another situation which happened in one of the B schools. So I used to, at that point in time, work for HCL Technologies. We went for the interview. When we went for the interview, our slot was 3 o'clock in the morning. So as soon as we went there, a set of biodatas were given, so we selected a particular candidate. When we selected that candidate, we asked for this candidate to come for the interview. So then we asked him the same question. Tell me more about yourself. So this guy, he said, sir, I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to talk to you because FMCG is in my blood. Consumer marketing, I know. Every fiber of my being is really itching to go for FMCG. And I still was not able to get the connect. We are a software services company recruiting for global, and this guy is coming out with FMCG experience. So I said, okay, but how does it make a difference? See, he said, sir, I know that in HLL, the first year, what you do is you send us to the rural marketing. I said, listen, we are not HLL, we are HCL. Because what happened, somebody shouted at the corridor, HLL or HCL, whatever he heard, okay, how? And immediately he canned answer. Now this is as bad as it can get. Rather than saying sorry, he was saying, but no problem. I said, what do you mean no problem? All of us make mistakes, yeah? Don't worry, you made a mistake, let's go on. He said, sir, why do you think I made a mistake? You're still hiring marketing profile. End of the day, it is marketing. Is it? Sure it is, but is it this profile that we are looking at? And I want you to understand that each person is an individual in his or her own right. We are unique by our DNA, that most of us know. We are unique by our fingerprint. We are unique by our voice print. We are unique because of our pupil. That's a unique one. And of course, the fifth uniqueness is our body odor, which is what dogs can get. The question that we want each one of you to ask yourself is, are you clear? Are you aware of the fact that you are a unique individual? The world in which we live in is a world of conformity. My son, he takes a longer time on the dining table than my daughter. Okay, so what happened? I got a little bit frustrated. My daughter finishes off fast, and this guy, he plays around with the food, and then after he eats, and then he plays around with the food, and then he's thinking about something. So I blurted out of my frustration, why can't you be like your sister? He got up and he gave me 16 reasons why he can't be like his sister. She's a girl, I'm a boy, she was born, so I suppose. I got the message. When I was growing up their age, I was a member of a 7-member family. I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And those were the tailoring days. So my father, when he went to buy festival clothes, he bought festival clothes based on a simple management principle: economies of scale. All that we had to do was wear the festival clothes and go out into the street, and everybody would know the members of the Pillai family. We are living in an age and a world of conformity. Don't let the world squeeze you into being somebody else. Are you aware of your identity? Are you clear in your company? Performance appraisal has happened or is happening for some of you. Everybody says you're not like so-and-so. They benchmark you. You are a unique individual in your own right. When I ask this question, who are you, or what is your identity, people give me their name. I'm so-and-so. I say, no, I don't want your name. And so they give me their profession. I'm a programmer. I don't want your profession. Oh, I'm a citizen of India. I don't want your geographic status. How does he say, what do you want? I said, listen, I want your identity. And then they invariably give, their identity is whatever, son of so-and-so, biological status. And I want you to understand, when does your identity get defined? Your identity actually gets defined long after you are gone. Long after you are gone. The question that you need to ask yourself is, are you prepared when opportunity comes? What do you think Mahatma Gandhi would have been if he was born post-independent India? Think about it. One more failed lawyer. Right? At best, he would have been a father of 4 children. One of whom disowned them, not the father of the nation. What do you think Mother Teresa would have been if she was born and brought up in Beverly Hills, California? Some imaginations are running wild. Don't think about luck. I am talking about your response to the situation. You can create your career, whatever be the situation. Whatever be the situation, it is your preparedness. Opportunity is everywhere. Sometimes, what happens when I introduce myself, I'm Anand Pillai. Born and brought up in Bangalore, but moved to Delhi in 1982, stayed there until 2011, and then moved to Bombay. You know what guys say? Hey, but all that is fine. You look like a Sri Lankan. I said, man, what's wrong with you? I mean, I just gave you the full biodata and you are now discounting my entire origin. You say I look like a Sri Lankan. And of course, I also discovered my Sri Lankan origins about 10 years ago. And the way it happened was the Indian cricket team and the Sri Lankan cricket team were there in this flight from Delhi to Bangalore. I was in that flight. The guy was sitting next to me in the flight. He was mighty thrilled that he's sitting next to me. And he was so pleased. He's making gestures. He's wanting to talk to me. I mean, he's wanting to touch me. I mean, he's all over the place. Flight landed, and as we were going up to the conveyor belt to get our luggage, this guy came very close to me. He pulled out his boarding pass, and he gave it to me, and he said, "Sir, autograph." I said, "Not bad. Finally, I have arrived in life." I took my pen, and I signed from one diagonal to the other, Anand Pillai. He looked at my signature, he looked at my face, and he said, "I'm sorry." So I said, "What are you sorry for?" He did not answer. He looked behind to see the other passengers who were coming behind me. When I looked behind, lo and behold, my brother from the Sri Lankan cricket team was behind me. We got separated at birth. My brother got adopted by the Jaisurya family, and I got adopted by the Pillai family. And the rest is history. While all this was happening, another friend of mine, he said, "Anand, you think you look like Sanat Jaisurya, but the reality is there are at least 7 people in the world who look like you." Have you come across that statement? I said, "Man, why do you want to kill my newfound joy? As far as I'm concerned, there is one and only one Anand Pillai in the world. There never was one before, there never will be one again." Again, another few friends, the same category that I talked about, they came and said, "Anand, you're getting arrogant." I said, "No, I'm getting confident. And the reason for my confidence is this: God does not repeat mistakes." But having said that, why am I giving you the story in a personal branding session? I want each one of you to realize this: God has made each one of us as a first-class original. Don't die a second-grade copy. The biggest assurance that you can get is you are a designer product. Having said that, sometimes our identity is fused with our achievements. Oh, I'm so-and-so, I'm a gold medalist, or I'm so-and-so. Sometimes we talk about our current job, but we give our past history. Why do we do that? I also had this scenario. The school in which I graduated, I was judged the best all-round student. I finished school, and after 5 years, I had to go back to school for some reason. I had to get a certificate or something, some signature. And I longed to look forward to go to the school because clouds were forming. Oh, this is what will happen. At the gate, I'll have a reception. Some people will rally behind me. All those hopes came to a grinding halt at the gate itself when the watchman asked me, "Who are you?" I went to the staff room, and as I went, the chemistry teacher and the English teacher, she was coming out. And as they were coming out, I displayed myself, and I said, "Ma'am, do you remember me?" With a broad smile, the chemistry teacher said, "Anand, how can we forget you?" Wow, hopes returned. Until she completed the sentence. "How can we forget you? You're the one who locked us in the room." And that's when the moment of truth sank in. We are remembered not for our achievements, but how we have impacted people's lives. In your career, in your organization, how have you impacted people's lives? Have you left your career signature? Have you left your career print? Because whatever it was that got you where you are today is not sufficient to keep you there. After you join in your academic degree, your GMAT score, your whatever, doesn't matter. What difference you are making to the organization that you are working. And that is why I want you to know your personal brand.